Hello everybody, and welcome back to H the King 2169 YouTube channel. And today, I'm going to be doing the first ever reaction video on this channel. So I'm going to get started, and before I get started, like and subscribe. I'm trying to get to 57 before the end of 2025, and let's get into it. This is the top 20 worst finishers of all time, in his opinion. And, this is Tap Out Corner. Subscribe to his channel. Let's get into it.
These are the top 20 worst WWE finishers of all time. Starting at number 20, John Morrison, Starship
What
Pain.
do you mean?
Alright,
That
let me be
finisher was
clear. The
fire.
Starship Pain looks absolutely amazing.
Exactly.
The fact that John Morrison's able to do
Then
this
why
is
did you put it
awesome,
so
but the
high?
impact is where this finisher really lacks. So often, it looked like Jomo just barely hit his opponent. Even when the move did connect properly, it lacked the serious impact a finisher should have. Again, Starship Pain is a thing of beauty, but it's a prime example of a finisher that focuses on style rather than substance.
Yeah,
Number
I
19,
know, but it's still
Ultimate
fire.
Warrior
Oh yeah, that
Splash.
finisher
Now, WWE
sucks.
and wrestling
That
in general
finisher
were
sucked,
different in
but
the 1980s.
that's when the
Even
finisher
still,
was
that's not
terrible.
good enough defense for one of the biggest stars and such a weak-looking finisher.
I know, what is
The
that?
Ultimate Warrior's Warrior Splash just felt really underwhelming. Since Warrior's opponent was lying on the mat, they couldn't really sell
That
it.
was a
On top
terrible
of that,
finisher.
Warrior's hands and or knees would often hit the mat first, minimizing the impact. If the splash had been performed from the middle or top rope, it would have looked a lot better. As it is though, the Warrior Splash was a real flop. Number 18, John Cena, STF. Some people say Cena's attitude
What?
adjustment isn't a good finisher. I
What?
don't agree, especially when his submission finisher is garbage. The move itself
Yo.
is actually great, but the way John Cena
Okay,
specifically
attitude
does
adjustment, I
it is
agree with
terrible.
him.
The majority of the
Okay,
time, it
listen.
looks like the
So he said the attitude. I thought he was about to say attitude adjustment for a second. I'm like, you were crazy. But then he said the STF, which I disagree with. The STF is a good signature, in my opinion, and I'm pretty sure it's counted as a signature. So I don't know why I put it on finishers, but you know what? I don't care.
opponent is in
I
more
just disagree.
pain due to Cena's arms pushing against the side of their head than Cena choking them out. It's unfortunate too, because there are times where Cena would perform the STF really well. I'm not sure if John Cena loosened his hold to make it safer or what, but the STF should have GTFA. Number 17, Chris Benoit, diving headbutt.
Oh,
Not
let's
only is
not
Chris
even
Benoit
talk about
controversial,
this.
but so is his finisher, the diving headbutt.
That
The move
finisher
can have some serious
sucks.
health risks if it's botched. However, on top of all
And
that,
so
the
does
move
Chris.
just doesn't make a whole
Yeah,
lot
we're
of
not even
sense.
talking
Like
about
Starship
Chris
Pain, the diving headbutt looks spectacular, but why would you hit your opponent with your head? One, that only dishes out a limited amount of damage, and second, are you gonna hurt yourself as much, if not more, than your opponent? The diving
Yeah,
headbutt
that's
just
a
never made
terrible
sense,
finisher.
and yet
Not even
it's
just
still
'cause it's
being
Chris
used
Benoit.
to this day.
That's a terrible
Number
finisher, no
16,
matter who uses
MVP,
it.
Playmaker. MVP is a cool wrestler, but his finisher was kind of dorky.
Ooh.
Not only did it look silly, but it didn't look like it really hurt MVP's
Okay,
opponent
though.
either. Sometimes it actually looked like MVP hurt his knee more than the person taking the move.
It's
Now,
not
Randy Orton
that
used the same move
bad,
as his finisher early in his career, but at least he quickly ditched
but
it. MVP, on
it's
the other hand,
not
has
that
continued
good
to
also.
Playmaker
It's not
for
bad,
his
but it's also
entire
not that
WWE
good.
career. Number 15, Toxic Attraction, Toxic Shock. Moving on to tag team finishers, Gigi Dolan and JC Jane's Toxic Shock was shockingly bad. Similar to John Cena's STF, the Toxic Shock isn't inherently a bad move. It's Dolan and Jane's execution that wasn't good. More often than not, Gigi or JC would miss their kick or just not make a solid connection,
That
causing the move to look
sucks.
awkward.
I don't care what
Again, the
anybody
idea
says.
of the finisher is
That
good, but when you're
sucks.
constantly having trouble executing
That's
properly, it's time to stop using it. Number 14, the Mountie, two-handed
Who is
chokeslam.
that?
Now the two-handed
I know that
chokeslam
finisher,
is
but
an
who
awesome
is that?
finisher. Wrestlers like the Great Khali and Omos have made it work.
Exactly.
However, both of those guys were 7 feet or taller. The Mountie, on the other hand, was just over 6 feet. That means his two-handed chokeslam didn't look nearly as impactful. Mountie's opponent
Yeah,
was
that's
usually running when he hit
not
it
that
too, making the move look awkward as well. It's surprising that the Mountie caught any men with this finishing move. Number 13, Fantasio, underwear
Who is
spike.
that?
In 1995, WWE fans were introduced to Fantasio, a magician turned wrestler. As you'd expect, Fantasio had a few tricks up his sleeve. He finished off his opponent by pulling their underwear off and then rolling them up for the pin.
What?
I gotta be honest, this might be the most creative finishing move ever. You know, if Fantasia debuted in the Attitude Era, they would have had him do this finisher to all the women. Unfortunately, we never got to see Fantasia pull this trick on The Undertaker or anything because he disappeared after his debut match. Number 12, Alicia Fox.
That's the
Officer
worst
Nasty.
finisher I've ever
Say
seen.
what you will about Alicia Fox, she spent 17 years as a WWE wrestler. That's even more amazing when you see her finisher. Fox ended matches by doing a somersault leg drop that she called Officer Nasty.
That's
it's an impressive athletic
pretty
move,
good,
but it
but
didn't
what-
look powerful at all. The main issue
pretty
was that
good,
it was
but what is that
supported
goofy
already
arm
on the mat, meaning they couldn't really sell it. Fox thankfully only used Officer Nasty as her finisher for about 2 years before only making it a signature move. Also, what
Yeah,
kind of name
that's a
is
really good
Officer
signature.
Nasty?
It's an all-right
Number
finisher,
11,
but I would
Battle
put that.
Cat, feline antics.
What the-
If you've never heard of Battle Cat, then you aren't missing much. This feline made its
Yeah,
WWE
who's
debut
that?
in 1990 and only had 3 televised matches before calling it quits. The character was only going to go so far, but Battle Cat's finisher didn't do himself any favors. Cat would run around his opponent, pounce on them, get it like a cat, and then cover for the pin.
What?
That's all there was to it. I
That's
guess it was
like a
Battle Cat's
normal
knees that were supposed to be
move.
hitting his
What?
opponent, but it never looked that way. Maybe he could have perfected it if he had been around longer, but I think Feline Antics was dead on arrival. Number 10, Gigi Dolan,
What's wrong with
Gigi
that?
Driver. This video isn't meant to be an attack on Gigi Dolan, but she's had some bad finishers. This one really isn't even a finisher. It's just a fancy
What
looking
is
roll-up.
that?
I guess Gigi is supposed to be hitting her opponent
That's
with such
alright,
momentum
but, like,
that
that's
it's
not
also going
that
to get
good.
knocked out or something.
That's
But it
actually,
doesn't look
that's
that
terrible,
way.
in my opinion.
Mr. Perfect had a similar type of finisher, but he would hoist his opponent into the air and send them crashing onto the mat.
Yeah,
Dolan just
Mr.
pushes their
Perfect is
opponent down,
amazing.
and that's it. Number 9, the Bushwhackers, the battering ram.
Who is
Another
that?
tag team finisher, and this one is pretty bad. One of the Bushwhackers would grab the other in a headlock and then ram them into their opponent. The attack might have been fine
That's
as a signature
just like,
move, but it
you
lacked the
think of a,
explosiveness needed
it's like
for
you're
a
just
finisher.
sitting
It
there
wasn't even
having
that
1
fun
minute
or
to think
entertaining
about a
to watch,
finisher,
making it
and
underwhelming
then you
easily
actually
forgotten. Number
just
8,
make that
Naomi,
up in your head.
rear view. Some wrestlers use their fists, some use their feet. Naomi, on the other hand, uses her butt. I'll give it this. The rear view is different, but not a good different. The former
If it was a
WWE Women's
signature,
Tag Team
it would be
champion smacked her
amazing,
opponents
but
in the
it's
face
not a good
with her
finisher.
backside and then covered them for the 1-2-3. As a fun signature move, the rear view would have worked great, but as a finisher, it's butt ugly.
That's literally
Number
what I
7,
just said.
Bastion Booger.
Who is that?
Trip to the Batcave.
Who is that?
This is one of the sickest WWE finishers ever, and I do not mean that in
Who
a positive way. Booger would sit on his opponent with his crotch dangerously close to his
what
opponent's
is
mouth.
that?
Yokozuna
That's
and
the worst
Rikishi
finisher
had
of all time.
finishers where they sat on their opponent, but they landed on their opponent's torso, and it looked like it hurt. Bastion Booger was so close to his opponent's face that not only did it look perverted, but it also looked like he was doing little to no damage. A disgusting finisher for a disgusting wrestler. I guess it's a match made in heaven. No, wait, that was his Friar Ferguson gimmick. Number 6, Kizarny, double arm DDT.
Who is that?
Anyone remember Kizarny? Probably not, because his WWE career only consisted of 2 televised matches, and one of them was a Battle Royal. As such, we only got to see his finisher once, but even that was too much. Kizarny would hook his opponent's arms and hit a DDT. It was a lot like Dean Ambrose's Dirty Deeds, but instead, Kizarny would roll through and hold his opponent's arms down to the mat. It
That
just lacked
is
any real
terrible.
excitement and just looked odd. Thankfully, no one has stolen it. Number 5, Everrise, the French Connection. If this is the first time you're hearing about Everrise, I don't blame you. The team was in WWE for over 2 years,
Yeah, I've never heard of
2019 to
them.
2021, but never made it to the main roster, and was relegated to NXT and 2
NXT?
Live. There are probably several reasons for that, but one thing they definitely need to work on was their finisher. Oh my gosh, it was so bad. Everrise's finishing move was called the French Connection. Chase Parker and Matt Martel would lift their opponent into the air and have their opponent hit either the top
That's
rope
terrible.
or the turnbuckle. Yes, this actually got them the win. This just barely qualifies as an offensive move, and these guys were using it as a finisher? I know Everrise didn't win a ton of matches, but nobody looked at this and said, hey, maybe you guys should change your finisher. Number 4, Vito, dress code. This finisher
mean,
is
no,
on
Vito
another
is-
level. A negative one. In 2006, Vito started appearing on SmackDown wearing a dress. This character would
What
never
the-
fly today, but it was a different time. Anyways, to play up the cross-dressing character, Vito got a new finisher, the dress code. Vito would shove his opponent's head under his dress, lock their arm, and start shaking. Most people would tap out within seconds, but can you blame them? The dress code is honestly so bad, it's almost good. Keyword being almost. Number 3, the Goon. Crosscheck.
Not
The
even
Goon
talking
was
about
one of the many bizarre characters that appeared in WWE in the mid-90s. The hockey player didn't win often, but when he did, it was always anticlimactic. The Goon's finisher saw him run to his opponent on the outside and knock him down, similar to a cross-check that real hockey players would use. Not only did the finishing move look weak, but the Goon always did it on the outside, meaning he would win by countout. Yeah, that'll do you a lot of good in a championship match. Number 2, Byron Saxton, Saxtonation. You might not remember, but before he was a commentator, Byron Saxton wrestled.
I
He made his
forgot Byron
WWE
Saxton
debut
was
on
a
NXT
wrestler.
back when it was a competition game show. Saxton ended up getting eliminated, and when you see his finisher, you can kind of tell why. Saxtonation involved Byron grabbing his opponent, motioning for a skull-crushing finale, and then psych! No matter how much WWE shook the camera, this finisher did not look good. Dolph Ziggler summed it up the best.
Byron Saxton! Forward and back.
And number 1, Solomon Crow, Pendulum Splash. In 2015, a wrestler named Solomon Crow debuted in NXT. He had an interesting look and appeared to have some potential.
This is the last
Then
one.
he hit his finisher.
Look at this! Hooks the leg! And that's it!
This move was called the Pendulum Splash.
That is
and while it
terrible.
is the worst finisher of all time, at least it's safe to perform. Which finishers, though, are the most dangerous? To find out,
Yeah, that's just terrible. Okay, so that was the video. Remember to like and subscribe. Tell me what y'all thought if y'all want more reaction videos. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Go check out my main channel, EW Wrestling. There's a link in the description. Not the description. There's a link in my community section. So, bye.